So Heather, every so often one comes across the word ratio in case law when you're reading case law. I only know mathematical ratios. So what is a ratio? What does that mean?
So when they talk about ratio, they're referring to the reasons that are in support of the outcome. So when a judge writes a decision, they're going to put in the reasons for how they came to their decision. There might also reference other things in passing. That other stuff is referred to as obiter. But when you're talking about the reasons, the principles, why the judge came to that decision, that's the ratio. So here's an example. Let's say I'm in a fight about a house and the judge says, Heather gets the house. So that's the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But why did Heather get the house? The judge said, well, Heather paid for it. Heather, her name is on title. Heather paid for the upkeep. Heather paid the taxes. Heather did all of that. And so I think that Heather should have the house. So those are reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say the judge throws in there, and Heather, when she was testifying, she seemed credible. She had purple hair. He mentions my purple hair in passing, but that purple hair isn't the reason why I got the house. So that would be considered, obiter, something that was mentioned along the way, but it wasn't a reason for why I got awarded the house.
How can you really tell, how do you extract the ratio?
Well, the answer is practice. I remember my first day of law school, property, like the first few weeks, the property law professor, we had to read case law. And the professor asked us all to parse out the facts, the issue, the ratio, and like the conclusion. And I did it. I thought, oh my God, I did such a good job. I read this case, like I'm such a good reader. The things I thought that were important were like not important at all. I don't remember the name of the case. I just remember I couldn't have been further off. Like here was the right answer and here was me. Like I was somewhere else. And then now I can read a case and I can see, okay, what's significant and what is not. But that comes from reading hundreds of cases over and over and over again. So I wish there was an easy answer to say, oh, this is how you find it and here's how you do it. And there can be even a lot of controversy amongst lawyers and judges of what the ratio is in a case. I might read it and I might think, this is what the case means. And you might read it as another lawyer and you think, actually, no, the case means something else. And it might take an appellate court to interpret it. And a great example is that I once did research on an issue and there were two separate lines of case law on the same issue. So the Superior Court, they had decided the same case differently. Like there was just contradiction. Eventually, one of those cases got appealed and the appellate court clarified what the answer was. So it goes to show that even lawyers and judges can disagree about interpretation, about what something means. So if people at the expert level are disagreeing, it's hard to say, to give an easy answer on how to find the ratio in a case.
That's really, really interesting. So this is why we need appeal courts.
Yeah, you need appeal courts because they might be the better court for interpreting the law. After, if there's contradictions at the lower court, if things have been decided differently, if there's been an error in the way a judge has decided their cases, So there's all sorts of reasons why appellate courts are important. But at the end of the day, the Supreme Court is the last word on the case law.
How does the Supreme Court go about deciding or clarifying the law?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court, they should be clarifying the law in their decisions. And when Justice Beverly McLaughlin was in charge, there was a large push towards unanimous decisions. And now there is a different trend where we're having a lot more split decisions. So if there is no majority decision on the case, then what happens over time is usually one of the judges, their opinion becomes the one that the courts tend to refer to over and over again. Oh. And then through that reference, that becomes the leading decision.
Oh, interesting. Right, because I was just thinking, what if you have 3 judges reasoning one way, and then you have 3 judges reasoning another way, then you got, and then 2 and 1, that kind of thing. So you got to really split. I remember reading stuff like that. So in that case, as you're saying, that it would be the one that's cited or mentioned the most. That would be the leading case, the principles.
Exactly. That would become the one that's leading, and that can take time as well. Like every time a judge refers to an earlier decision by another judge, they are interpreting the law themselves. They are revising the precedent. They're bringing more color to it. Right. So it does evolve kind of in that way, like naturally, like putting carts onto a train. So if that's kind of how I picture it. Like there's a train, and every time the judge writes something, there's another like cart. You put it on the train, and they are interpreting the law every time they make their decisions.
That's great, Heather. We covered a lot of ground in these videos, and so I believe you mentioned that there are a couple of resources for people to do extra reading if they want to learn a little bit more about stare decisis.
So this is a great resource for people to use, and will fill in a lot more detail. What I've done today is very broad. The article from the Windsor Review, and it's called A Practical Guide to Stare Decisis. Another one is a great book, a really fun read if you like the law. It's by Alan Hutchinson, a professor at Osgood, and it's titled, Is Eating People Wrong? I read the book and I really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic book, and I recommend it if you have an interest in how the law evolves over time.
Oh, wow. Sounds good. I think I remember reading that as well. It was actually, very enjoyable. Okay, Heather, thank you very much for explaining this, and thanks everyone for watching. If you found this helpful, please give us a thumbs up, and if you're new, subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified of our upcoming videos. And we'll see you at the next video. Bye.
Bye.